Hear my thin voice, hear my words fall down.
I guess we felt both a certain potential and a challenge in trying to strip down something we've been building and decorating to no end. Trying to get away with a less is more to something already achieved and perceived as more is more. And I think the album title clearly indicates the whole process and the end result.
We thought it had a lot of potential underneath all the drums and the distorted guitars. There were a lot of music that didn't really came forth as it should be, because there is a lot of good stuff going on under there. So we wanted to give it a try.
It occurred to us every time we were muting channels while recording and mixing Dead and Kings. You know, when you have to take a closer look at what's going on at a certain part, you isolate that segment by muting all the other instruments and channels that distract you. So that's when you realize how different the songs would sound the other way around, stripped down and void of any metal. The initial reaction was that the songs sounded like they were someone else's songs. Kind of weird feeling, but still intriguing, so this fascinated us, and the whole less is more approach, which theoretically should have been the easy way out when starting to write a new album from scratch, became more of a delicate challenge to pursue later on.
The idea to do it, I think it came pretty much when we were working on Dead and Kings, because we realized the potential of all the textures, samples, the strings, pianos. It was a really difficult job to mix the Dead and Kings album because we wanted everything to be in there, but this time we got the chance to actually do it all over again and put the emphasis on the more atmospheric parts. I think this version of the album is released on Kscope because it's a progressive label rather than a metal label. Peaceville is a pure metal label. So Kscope is probably a better label to release this kind of music on. That's it.
This album actually falls more on the Kscope style and representation. It's basically all Snapper Music, the mother company behind Peaceville and Kscope, that uses these two sub-labels to work with two completely different genres. The people at Kscope are the same people we deal with while being on Peaceville, so there's no difference in the way we communicate or work with them.
I'm familiar with some of the artists. I really like Steven Wilson, Pineapple Thief, and Dethroned Uncrowned.
Well, I would have to say Steven Wilson / Porcupine Tree and Anathema, of course.
I think Buildings is a prime example of a song that worked better than I thought it would, because it's a very heavy song and it's original version, and this uncrowned version of it I think came out really good. It's a very exciting song to listen to, a lot of things happening in it, and it's maintaining the darkness that the original version has as well.
Well, I think The Racing Heart was bound to turn out perfect for this album before we even lay our hands on it. It's because it's, you know, the original version on the album already sounds the closest to Dethroned as it is. I also love The One You're Looking For Is Not Here, how that turned out, because the vocal deliveries between Jonas and Celia are highlighted even more now.
fixation, internal void. My dreams are
Some tracks were more difficult than others, of course, but I think, again, Buildings is a good example, because it was so different. Also, Dead Letters is kind of a hard-hitting song in its original version, so it took some time to develop a fine balance between the heavy stuff and the atmospheric stuff and make it work.
I found trying to transcribe the distorted guitar riffs of Buildings into acoustic parts to be quite tricky, actually. On some songs we just played the exact same thing the distorted guitars were doing, but on the acoustic guitars. But on some we made entirely new chord arrangements as well. I think it was a balance between staying true to the identity of the original song or taking the freedom to just alter whatever you wanted further.
We didn't have to put that much extra instrumentation on the songs because I think the songs were already what was needed for this album. All of the synth tracks, the samples, the pianos and stuff were already there, so we added some acoustic guitars and we added some extra keyboards to just glue everything together, but it's not too much of it.
Well, most of the songs got stripped to the bone just by pressing mute on the drums, distorted rhythm guitar and bass guitar channels. After that we kind of treated each song individually and just looked for what else was needed to be stripped, or in some cases even added and spiced. But you know, it was easy to fall into the trap of starting to spice more than what was needed, and then you would turn the whole thing too orchestral. So we always had to remind ourselves the challenge here was foremost subtraction and not addition. But all the songs got some reworked 6 or 12 string acoustic guitars to replace all those absent rhythm guitars. A few leads were redone. The vocals actually are the exact same as they are on the original recording, which sometimes can be hard to believe. But we made sure that they sneaked up real nice to take on the main spot of the sound picture. And with this whole ambience of the keyboards following right behind them.
in the weak light. I saw you becoming the lie, taking it all for granted.
The final result, I'm really happy with it. I wouldn't want to do this again with an older album because I think Dead and Kings was the perfect album to do this sort of project with. In the future, I don't know. We'll have to see.
I am happy that this whole idea and concept worked out. I'm happy that the recordings, mix, mastering, artwork, everything just came together, and this whole pledge campaign that we did made that happen. We're not ready to leave our signature sound behind permanently. It was cool to do an album like Dethroned, to prove yourself and also show the world what Katatonia are capable of doing when or, how we feel like doing things. But our interest and passion is coming from something buried deep down the roots of our history, and that involves the heaviness. So for me these days it's more about songs than what direction a whole album needs to be in. I can see us write some Dethroned kind of songs in the future, but then mix them up with some, heavy songs. That I see as a, that's a good potential in that kind of variety and mix. Jonas and I, we have been embracing the so-called singer-songwriter type of music since you know, the early 90s, and especially artists like Red House Painters, Jeff Buckley or Tori Amos, amongst many others, always served as some of the biggest inspirations to us. They are actually responsible in a way for how Katatonia sounds the way we do within metal. They have helped us to retain a unique trademark style within metal. So I think we have some stuff, we have written some stuff close to the material on Dethroned before. A couple of songs, you could take Omerta from Viva Emptiness, you can take Idle Blood from Night is the New Day, or even The Act of Darkening from Dead and Kings. They all already sound much alike the Dethroned material as their own original version. But we never felt the need to make a full album of that type of songs until now. Because now it's not like it's an either or situation going on. We have Dead and Kings in its heavy original form, and now we have like its twin in its soft form, so people can just pick what they prefer, or they can enjoy both of them like we do.
I wouldn't consider writing an acoustic album just because we've done the Uncrowned album. I'm really happy with where Katatonia are right now. There's no need to change for the sake of changing. We just keep on doing what we do. We add bits of everything already.
Yes, it looks like something will go down next year. What I can tell you is that we were planning on making these shows rather different already, such as playing some more unexpected and unusual venues, maybe even with a seated band, a seated audience. For a live show, we'd actually go back to older albums and dethrone more songs. As such an intimate show would kind of require that.
We are very, very intrigued by the thought of touring for Uncrowned. So hopefully it will happen in next year, 2014. And it's going to be a very different setting for us, for the audience as well. Musically it's going to be different, so that's very exciting.
This time you won't be need